welcome to the deep dive. You've sent us some really interesting sources, and our mission today is basically to dig into this material and pull out the key insights.
Right. We're not just talking preparedness in like a general sense.
No, definitely not. We're zooming right in on how culture, geography, and, well, the weather all kind of come together to create this very specific, very refined approach to being ready in the Philippines.
That's it, exactly. We're focused squarely on the Visayas, specifically looking at the Ilonggo people of Iloilo. And the source material, it really details how this deep cultural value translates directly into practical, everyday actions.
Like what you decide to stick in your bag before you even leave the house?
Precisely. We're sort of unpacking this Ilonggo idea of prudence and why it's basically non-negotiable over there.
Okay, let's unpack that then. We're diving into this concept called Paghalong. That's Ilonggo preparedness. And the core idea seems to be that this cultural value is completely driven by, well, environmental necessity. You just can't afford to be disorganized or slow because the environment, it seems, it just won't wait for you.
Not at all.
So, okay, first things first, we need to understand that environmental context. Why is being prepared, this Paghalong, so incredibly critical in Iloilo?
Well, the sources make it really clear that the sheer volatility of the weather is the main driver here, the primary architect, you could say, of this cultural trait.
Volatility.
How so? We're not talking about, slow-moving weather fronts you can track on an app hours ahead.
Right.
No, this is about extreme speed. Iloilo weather, especially during those transition periods between seasons, it can flip. It can go from intense, like blistering sun to a massive soaking downpour.
In minutes.
In the time it takes to cross the street. That's what the sources suggest. It's almost instantaneous.
Wow. Okay, that speed, that instant switch, that really is the key thing here, isn't it?
It is.
It means reacting after it starts.
Huh.
That's basically impossible.
Exactly. If you're waiting for that first drop of rain to decide what to do, you're already soaked.
And your day is potentially ruined.
Absolutely. And this volatility, it's not just about, personal comfort. Think about the impact on commerce, on daily logistics.
Good point.
Imagine trying to plan a trip, or maybe setting up a market stall, or just waiting for a jeepney. If the weather flips instantly like that, everything just descends into immediate chaos.
Right.
So the sources imply that this constant pressure cooker of unpredictable weather means that adaptation, being ready, it isn't optional. It's a constant, everyday thing you just have to factor in.
Okay, so the extreme speed of the weather creates the need. Let's move to how that need shapes a core part of the identity there.
Right, and that brings us perfectly to the cultural response. We're shifting from the environment itself to the character trait it fosters. Section 2, decoding Ilonggo prudence.
So Paghalong, what exactly do the sources say it is? How do they define it?
Okay, so Paghalong, they define it as the noun, preparedness. Simple enough, the state of being ready. But what's really fascinating, I think, is the adjective form they really emphasize.
Which is Mahalong.
Yes, Mahalong. It means careful and prudent. And the sources, they aren't just like tossing out a definition. They're giving it real cultural weight. They describe being Mahalong as a deep Ilonggo trait.
A deep Ilonggo trait. That suggests it's more than just a learned skill, doesn't it? It's like fundamental to the identity.
That's how it reads. Foundational. Part of who you were expected to be.
That distinction, it feels significant. If it's a deep trait, a cultural expectation, I wonder, do the sources hint at any kind of social downside if you're not prepared? Like, is it seen as a sort of failure of character if you're the one always caught out by a sudden storm?
It definitely seems implied. The expectation is that you are mentally and practically ready, positioned to handle, and I quote, anything the day throws at you.
Anything the day throws at you.
Yeah. So if you aren't Mahalong, well, you're not just inconveniencing yourself. You might be creating burdens for others, too. People who might have to help you out or deal with your lack of foresight.
Ah, I see. So it's not just common sense for your own sake. It's almost like a commitment to maintaining order and stability for everyone, especially when the environment is so unpredictable.
It really sounds like it, like an embedded cultural defense mechanism. As you said earlier, prudence becomes a kind of community insurance against that chaos.
Makes sense.
And if that value is truly deep, as they say, then it has to show up in practical ways, right? In observable actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which naturally raises the question, how does this deep trait actually translate into the stuff people choose to carry, into their gear choices day in and day out?
Right. And that prudence, that Mahalong quality, it has to manifest somewhere concrete. So let's look at the very practical example the sources use.
Yeah.
The test of the simple umbrella.
Exactly. This is where we get really specific about the gear. We're moving into the practical test of preparedness now. And the sources use the umbrella as this, like, perfect little case study for applied Paghalong.
Why the umbrella specifically?
Because it's everywhere, right? It's ubiquitous. But it faces this specific, localized, almost existential threat in Iloilo and the amihan wind.
Okay, tell me more about the amihan wind. Is it just, a strong breeze, or is there something particular about it that demands a tougher umbrella?
The sources paint it as definitely more than just a gust. It's the northeast monsoon wind. And when it hits, it often comes with that sudden heavy rain we talked about.
Oh, the double whammy.
Yeah. It's described as cold, strong, and hitting with this, like, brutal, sustained force.
Yeah.
The description's pretty vivid, those cheap, flimsy umbrellas, the kind you might grab quickly at a corner store.
Yeah.
They don't just get blown around a bit, they fail instantly.
Fail how? What does that look like?
Dramatic failure. The sources imply the typical scenario is catastrophic. The canopy flips inside out immediately.
Oh, yeah, I can picture that.
Or the metal ribs snap. Maybe the central pole just bends. Either way, it's instantly useless.
And you're left standing there.
Holding a piece of junk metal, getting soaked.
Okay, help me understand why that specific detail is so important. Is it because the gear failing actually creates more problems than just the rain itself?
Well, think about it. If you relied on something and it breaks the moment you need it,
You've wasted money, you've lost time dealing with the broken thing, and you're still getting drenched, plus maybe your phone or bag contents get ruined.
that's the definition of imprudence right there, isn't it, according to this framework?
Yeah.
So the trait of Mahalong, being prudent, it dictates choosing gear with a standard of durability that avoids those kinds of secondary failures. The umbrella absolutely must be durable enough to stand up to, quote, Ilonggo weather. It's not just about shedding water, it's engineered to fight that wind.
Okay, so the sources don't just say, get a good umbrella. They actually list specific features needed for this true preparedness standard. What are they?
Yeah, the list is surprisingly detailed, and it speaks volumes about versatility. Because you might have to carry it all the time, given the unpredictability.
Right, it has to be practical even when it's sunny.
Exactly. So first, it needs to be compact and portable, easy to carry. Then obviously wind resistance is key. Maybe that means reinforced ribs or perhaps those vented canopies you sometimes see, specifically to handle the amihan.
Okay, makes sense.
But what's really interesting, I thought, was the inclusion of UV protection as well.
Ah, UV protection. That links straight back to your first point about the speed of the weather change.
Precisely. Because the sun can blast back just as fast as the rain disappears.
So the ideal gear has to protect you from both extremes, potentially within minutes of each other, all in one package.
That's the idea. So the durable choice, the Mahalong choice, becomes this instrument of constant multi-threat readiness. That durability, it's the physical embodiment of being Mahalong. It's a deliberate, calculated investment to ensure you're covered, whatever nature decides to throw at you next.
This level of detail about gear, it could easily stop there, right? The conclusion being simply, prepare well, get good tools. But the sources, they actually take us one step deeper, which I found really profound. Why go to all this trouble? What's the ultimate point behind being so meticulously Mahalong?
And that, I think, leads us straight to the heart of the cultural insight here. The deeper goal of preparedness. The purpose isn't just about staying dry or avoiding inconvenience. It's about protecting something much more valuable, apparently.
That's right. The source brings in this final concept, Pagpahuway. The whole effort, the constant vigilance, investing in that robust umbrella, it's ultimately aimed at preventing a sudden downpour from ruining one's Sunday Pagpahuway.
Which translates roughly to rest, or specifically Sunday rest. And that carries, significant cultural and often spiritual weight in many parts of the Visayas.
So that's where it all connects.
Exactly. Preparation, Paghalong, becomes a form of boundary setting.
That's a fantastic connection. Preparation isn't about, say, maximizing productivity or efficiency in the way we might usually think. It's about protecting your leisure time, your rest.
It totally elevates the act. It's not just a chore. It's a mechanism for preserving your mental peace, your well-being.
Yeah.
And if you think about, the constant pressure of modern life everywhere, this Paghalong framework, it offers a really interesting philosophical counterpoint. The effort you put in beforehand, carrying that slightly heavier, maybe more expensive, but reliable umbrella, it's an investment.
An investment in what, exactly?
In ensuring that your valuable, finite downtime, your Pagpahuway, is shielded from those external, unpredictable disruptions. You're actively making sure that a sudden storm doesn't derail that much needed rest or maybe important family or social time.
It sort of reframes what success means in this context. Success isn't just about navigating the chaos when it hits.
Right.
It's about being so prepared that the chaos doesn't even get a chance to interfere with your ability to genuinely rest and recharge.
If Mahalong means avoiding the disruption.
Then Pagpahuway is the peaceful state you achieve because the preparation worked. It proves the system is effective.
It really shows how deeply embedded cultural values can play out in the smallest daily routines. The prudent person, the Mahalong person, is rewarded with peace, which, as you say, contrasts quite sharply with maybe some other cultures where being constantly busy, reacting, always hustling, is often prized more.
Yeah.
Here, the priority seems clearly placed on maintaining the integrity of personal time, of rest.
That's a really powerful takeaway from this material. Okay, so to quickly recap our deep dive here, we saw how Iloilo's intense, almost instant weather volatility creates the necessity for that cultural trait of being mahalong, careful, prudent.
Right.
And that deep trait demands practical action, like choosing specific, durable, multifunction gear, the wind-resistant umbrella being the key example. And all of this effort ultimately is focused on that higher goal, protecting one's capacity for rest and enjoyment for Pagpahuway.
Yeah, and what really stands out, I think, is how preparedness, Paghalong, is framed. It's not just about surviving the day's challenges. It's about actively ensuring your ability to rest and enjoy life, that Pagpahuway. The cultural expectation seems to be invest energy up front to secure peace later on.
It's quite profound.
It is. So if prudence really is a deep trait there, how often do we actually see our own core values expressed so clearly, so practically, through something as simple as carrying a durable umbrella? It gives you an incredible lens, maybe, to look at your own daily preparations, your own routines. Definitely something for you, the listener, to mull over as you face the unpredictable parts of your own day.